Texas Congressman Chip Roy filing a resolution that reads in part, President Joseph R. Biden has repeatedly and publicly demonstrated his inability to discharge the powers and duties of the presidency, including, among others, the powers and duties of the commander-in-chief. That effort seemingly a dead end at the White House.
Can you share any details on President Biden's and Vice President Harris's lunch today? Do you know if they discussed Vice President Harris potentially taking over? Do you know if that came up today?
I mean, I just stated that the president is not dropping out. That's something that the campaign has shared. So I'm just repeating what the campaign has shared. They regularly have lunch, and I'm not going to get into private conversation.
So here now, in his first interview since introducing that resolution, Congressman Chip Roy. Congressman, thanks for being here. Why do you think it's important to act in the 25th Amendment now after what we all saw Thursday in the debate?
Yeah, great to be on, Brett. I mean, first of all, I take no great joy in it. But the reality is the American people and, frankly, everybody has now seen what a lot of us have been watching up close and personally in Washington, D.C., and which this administration has been trying to hide, which is the lack of competency, the lack of ability of the current sitting president of the United States. Now, people want to turn this into a political issue first and foremost, and I understand why. Many of us who support President Trump want to see him win in November. We believe he will soundly defeat either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or whoever the Democrats want to put forward, because their radical progressive Democrat ideology is out of step. High inflation, open borders, endangered Americans on the streets. But this is an issue of the Constitution, straight up. He is the commander-in-chief. He has the nuclear codes. We have people around the world looking at us. Our borders are open. Our enemies are watching. And the president, frankly, isn't all there. And everybody knows it. It is telling that the media, the mainstream media so-called, is now all in a tizzy because of the political ramifications. Right now, they're saying, oh, maybe Biden should step down because they're worried he'll lose to President Trump. They don't care that our nation is in danger because they've been propping up a Manchurian candidate that the radical leftists sitting around him in the White House can manipulate and puppet master him into doing all of these radical progressive Democrat things like open borders, Laken Riley getting killed, Rachel Morin in Maryland, all of the people suffering from fentanyl pouring into our borders, and walking away from Israel, walking away from our stage and making sure we stand alongside Israel, and numerous other things in which Joe Biden has failed the American people.
Here's Jay Johnson, former Department of Homeland Security Secretary on MSNBC this morning on this issue.
A presidency is more than just one man, one woman. It's an administration. I would take Joe Biden on his worst day at age 86, so long as he has people around him like Avril Haines, Samantha Power, Gina Raimondo supporting him over Donald Trump any day.
What about that?
Well, I think what you're seeing are people circling the wagons, and for them, they're trying to make the case that by having people around the president, that's sufficient. That's not what the Constitution says. We invest in the commander-in-chief, the sole authority, and a unitary executive to run the executive branch, to actually run our military and our army. When our enemies are looking at our president, when they see him feeble, when they see him, wandering off at the G7 summit and stumbling on the stage out at Normandy, when they see him in the debate against President Trump, frankly, unable to find his words, unable to answer questions, unable to recall just even salient details. This has been going on for years. They want to put exactly what Jay Johnson just said. They want to put a cadre of radical progressive Democrats around the president to advance their radical agenda, using him as a puppet to advance that agenda. The American people want something different. I think the 25th Amendment should be invoked. But to be clear, to those on the right that say, Chip, you're going to undermine the ability to win in November, I don't believe that. I think President Trump is going to advance an agenda, and already has demonstrated an agenda the American people want to see in driving down inflation, stop the reckless spending, secure the border of the United States, make our military focused on its job again instead of being woke, and ending the weaponized government against the American people.
I'm going to play one more soundbite, and this is Vice President Harris being asked about the age question back in September of last year, whether she's ready.
The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Joe Biden is too old to run again. Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?
Yes, I am, if necessary. But Joe Biden is going to be fine. They feel the need to attack because they're scared that we will win.
Congressman, I just want to get you briefly on what has happened here as far as people who had to know behind the scenes what was happening, that event on the debate stage could have happened. One of them is Vice President Kamala Harris, who, by all accounts, meets with him several times a week and maybe has lunch with him, President Biden, in that time.
Yeah, Brett, this is the exact point, and it's a really important one. What did Kamala Harris know, and when did she know it, about the mental health and the debilitating state of our current president? I think you could actually even be talking about impeachment for the extent to which she is culpable in lying to the American people about the mental state of the president of the United States and her refusal to bring up the 25th Amendment.